what's up you guys? I'm Sarah Labrat and today's writing vlog is going to be all about beta reading. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a big thumbs up, and without further ado, let's get into it. So it's been a few days since I last worked on the beta reading feedback for my project DE, mostly because it was feeling like very overwhelming when I stopped working on it a couple days ago, just because of like the sheer amount of work that I know that this next draft is going to bring. So I'm not really looking forward to that, and the urge to work on a different project like CBH or completely rewrite the book that I wrote in high school has been very high. I'm still going to try not to do that yet. I would still like to be working on DE and leading up to draft 4 of DE after I'm done with beta reading feedback, but that means that I have to get through the beta reading feedback first. So it's another day, and I'm gonna do a couple more chapters of going over beta reader feedback tonight. I think what's gonna help me do this the best is like breaking down this massive project into like bite-sized pieces and just working on it like a little bit every day, even though I know that's what works really well and consistency is key and progress is progress. Sometimes my brain gets a little ahead of myself, but anyways, let's get into doing a couple more chapters of beta reader feedback tonight. I wholeheartedly agree with this comment. That's why I said LOL, yup. I just finished chapters 4 and 5 of this person's beta feedback, and some great points have been brought up. I'm very excited to get to tackle these. I did a lot of writing. My hand is kind of cramping after that because she said a couple things in her comments that really got my brain working on like things that I can improve and how I can improve what she was suggesting. And honestly, how I can like rewrite like the first like couple chapters in order for it to accommodate and supply the information that's needed that it's currently lacking. So I'm feeling really good about those changes. I was expecting myself to start feeling really overwhelmed. That has not happened yet. However, I am doing really well. It is currently 11:45. It's time for a chocolate chip cookie. Okay, water and cookies have now been acquired. Cookies have now been consumed. It is currently 12:35, but I think I'm gonna go for like another like 25 or so minutes, basically bring myself to 1 a.m. Try to get through a chapter or two more of this, just trying to break away at this in like bite-sized pieces. That's 2 more chapters down for this evening. I was like really getting in the zone with like my salt lamp on and my fairy lights lit up. And I did another 45 minutes, meaning that I ended up working on this for an hour and a half tonight, which is awesome. I definitely think the chocolate chip cookies helped. Sugar's great. Chocolate chips in anything seems to really help my creativity. As I'm making notes and writing down stuff that she said in the email into my notebook here, I am putting in like parentheses my own thoughts and kind of like trying to address the questions that she is raising. And I do think that like my brand new beginning that I came up with tonight does resolve a lot of these questions, and even the questions that it didn't originally solve, I'm like leaving myself notes on how to potentially answer these questions by like tweaking something in this new chapter idea. So I would say that today's writing session, or going over beta feedback session, I don't know what to call that, was very successful and was definitely the right decision tonight. However, it is now 1:21 in the morning and I should probably go to bed. It is the next day now. It is a little bit after 9 p.m. I woke up today at 2:30 p.m., if that was not abundantly clear. I ended up sleeping for like a full like 12 hours last night, which was absolutely incredible. And the hours that I have been awake today have been really, really good so far. I did end up going for like one of like my goal setting walks, which I saw on TikTok called Hot Girl Walks. And that kind of helped put me back in like a very positive headspace, because I haven't been for like the past like week or so, maybe even longer than that. But like too long, basically. And so while I was on my walk, I was thinking about me, my goals, how I want to achieve those goals. And then I also recently started listening to an audiobook, which I cannot remember the name of it right now, but they said something about how small wins are big wins. And then after my walk, I was kind of reminded that like writing books is what I want to do with my life. And if I don't write, that doesn't get me any closer to my goals. Not that breaks and stuff aren't incredibly important, but I don't feel like I need a break right now. I was just feeling kind of lethargic about writing, and so I'm very happy with the hour and a half of working on DE and the beta reading feedback that I did yesterday. My current goal is to do about an hour, or try to do a minimum of an hour every day until I get through the beta reader feedback, and so that is the current goal. I'm also going to try to not stay up as insanely late tonight so that I can try to kind of normalize my sleep schedule a little bit. But again, we will just see what happens with that one, which brings me to, I need to turn on my salt lamp and then get into chapter 7 beta reading feedback. Okay, well, I know that I look really red right now. My salt lamp is on and I don't want to turn it off. So, 2 more chapters down. That took me about 30 minutes. I'm probably going to take a break, probably watch a couple YouTube videos, maybe work on editing one of my own videos, probably eat some chocolate chip cookies, like all good stuff. Chapter 9 took up 1 full perfect page of notes. So I have like 3 more pages within this email that I still need to go through, and I kind of want to finish that tonight, even though I'm currently sitting at like 55 minutes total for this evening of working on this. It's like almost 11 p.m. and I know that 3 more pages might take up a lot of time, probably like upwards of like 2 more hours. However, I am getting coffee with one of my beta readers tomorrow, and she's going to tell me like her thoughts on the story. And so I kind of want to get all the way through this person's feedback before going to coffee with her, in hopes to keep their ideas separate so that I can like write them all out separately in this like handy dandy notebook, and then kind of compare and contrast like what each person has said about the story. So I kind of am hoping that I'm going to finish this tonight, which definitely means that I'm probably going to need sugar and maybe tea. But the tea that I want is chamomile, but I don't want to feel tired. So maybe it's not time for tea yet. Maybe I start with cookies. Cookies. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Cookies have been acquired. So I'm winning in that department, which is awesome. Again, small wins are big wins, guys. Cookies have been acquired. I was watching TikTok during the break that I just took, and I came across 2 things that I wanted to share. One was a quote that said, "Strength and resilience is built in consistency and in repetition." Again, that's kind of behind the whole concept of like trying to write every day. And while I don't write every single day, I did feel really good when I did write every day for 30 days. And I think that was kind of like my longest recorded streak of writing at the very least. And while I know that there's gonna be days where I like can't write and maybe don't feel like writing or whatever, I think that for me, it's more important to do it more often than I'm not. And then the second thing that I came across, it was just a very nice TikTok that was like, if nobody's told you today, you're doing a good job. And so I wanted to repeat that. If nobody has told you today, you are doing a great job. So on that note, it's time for me to get into chapter 10 notes, which is awesome. I'm kind of feeling like I probably won't get all the way through the 3 more pages tonight because I'm actually getting tired, and it's like 11:40 right now, so I'm kind of hoping I'm not gonna stay up super crazy late tonight. So I am gonna try to go to bed at like a decent time. I don't really know what quantifies a decent time anymore, but in theory, a decent time. But I do want to get a little bit further into this. I also think I probably don't need to be taking notes as intensely as I have been. And I feel like now that I'm not like at the very beginning, I'm at least going to, wow, that train of thought just left. Now that I'm not at the very beginning, I'm thinking a lot of the things that are going to be brought up now, or like here moving forward, are going to be repetition of things that changing the beginning will help, but we'll see. Well, again, we'll just see what happens. The that's 2 more chapters down. That kind of seems like my tolerance level. That sounds bad, but that kind of seems like my tolerance level for going through beta feedback. I feel like wording it like it's a good pace is probably a better way to say it. It definitely seems that like 2 chapters at a time kind of feels like the best pacing for this, for me to be moving through this person's beta feedback. I was kind of right with what I said before this last like note-taking sprint, in that a lot of what is being said now could have been fixed earlier. And so I wrote out some more ideas for the new opening chapters that I think are really going to help a lot of these like trickle down problems. And that's probably going to be the most annoying part about draft 4, is not like the rewriting that I have to do and like the new scenes that need to be added for clarity and to fix things, but like the actual like trickle down effect throughout the rest of the book. Because what I need to change are like the first couple chapters, and I have a pretty good concept of what I want to change them to. The problem is that I just went over chapter 10 and 11, but there's stuff in these chapters that will need to be changed according to the new first chapters. And that's definitely going to be the most annoying part, but I am happy that all of the problems kind of seem to be stemming from like a few main issues that seem like are mostly going to be resolved with this new opening, which again, I had no idea that this is what I wanted to do until starting on this person's feedback. And like, this seems like such a no-brainer now that like, this is actually a really cool experience. I was really freaked out about doing beta readers and getting beta reader feedback and everything, which I think is fair because it was like the first time that I was actually sharing like a large amount of my work, like 119,000 words, when I had only shared like chapters at a time before. So I am extremely happy with how this is going so far. I think it might be a little unrealistic to try and finish this person's beta feedback tonight, but what it is definitely time for is tea. If I haven't pointed it out yet either, this mug says, "Please do not annoy the writer. She may put you in a book and kill you." This was a gift from my mom for Christmas one year, but I'm gonna do chamomile tea tonight. I've been kind of obsessed with chamomile tea since I went and did the little getaway house, which is basically a tiny house in the middle of the woods where I went and stayed for a night last fall. And if you have not seen that video, I did a vlog while I was there. It was a very peaceful vlog. And like, honestly, one of like the most fun like weekend trips that I've gone on. But I also think that I probably say that about like every weekend trip that I go on. And the best part is that I still have not finished reading Kingdom of Ash, which is the book that I was reading on that trip. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to go back to my writing room and write some more. Remember when I said earlier that I wanted to go to bed at like a decent time tonight? Well, now it's 1:20 and I have been very productive with this. I ended up spending 2 hours and 25 minutes working on this tonight, which is incredible. I'm very, very happy about that. But the whole going to bed at like a decent hour was not happening tonight, apparently, which like, honestly, I'm not that surprised. However, I am coming up with some incredibly good ideas for starting draft 4 and trying to like get this book to be better, which again is the whole point of beta readers, is the whole point of getting secondary feedback. And I'm very excited to get the opportunity to talk to one of my beta readers tomorrow. But I am kind of coming to the conclusion that like the first half of this book is really what needs the most help. And I think a lot of that does stem from the fact that I did write this project over a 3.5 year span, and that was only for the rough draft, and that the beginning chapters changed so many times, and like where the story started changed so many times within that 3.5 year span, that it was just kind of confusing. And I think I had been staring at it for too many years, that when I went back for draft 2 and 3, I didn't totally know how to fix the problem. I knew that there was something off. I knew that it wasn't quite right, but going through this beta reading feedback is giving me lots and lots of good ideas, and I really don't know how much longer it would have taken me to come to those realizations by myself. So if you are stuck on something, I highly recommend sending your story out to someone else to read and sharing your work with someone that you trust so that you can ask them questions, because this is bringing forth a lot of very helpful and very cool like epiphanies within this story. And I'm feeling really, really, really good about it. Like while taking notes, it almost seems like I'm looking at my story in like a different layer. If we're like thinking about like Photoshop or Illustrator or something, it almost looks like I'm looking at like what the story can be instead of just trying to fix like the original layer. It's like giving me options and opportunities to fix a top layer that will make the overall thing better. I hope that makes sense. It is late. I need to go to bed. But I'm feeling really, really good, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. I just left getting coffee with one of my beta readers. So freaking helpful. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. If you're watching this, I don't know if you watch my videos or not actually, but if you are watching this, thank you. I feel so excited because I feel like they're giving me such tangible advice on how to improve, what feels unsatisfactory, what feels really, really good, what things kind of feel like extraneous. But I'm currently back to feeling really good about where my project currently stands, and especially now with like my new ideas that are coming in with making this story better with some of the things that they've suggested and brought up and pointed out to me. So again, feeling very, very good about this. That brings us to the next day. It is currently 9:40 p.m. I honestly have not worked on this during like daylight hours during this video, I don't think, which is quite fitting for my current writing process and like current creative time. However, I do still want to finish going over the notes that this beta reader left me, and basically I want to finish up going through this email. I have about a page and a half left of their notes, and so I think I should be able to get through this tonight, and then in my next writing vlog I should finish up beta reading and then hopefully start making plans on how I actually want to attack starting draft 4 of my project DE. That's crazy. So with that being said, let's start on chapter 17. I now have officially 1 page of notes in this email left from her, and it's kind of cool that now that I talked to one of my other beta readers yesterday when we were getting coffee, looking back at this person's and kind of comparing what she has said to what this other person has said, it's really cool like how they bounce off of each other without them even knowing, and how they've been giving me like very complimentary advice, and I'm very excited about it. And something else that I wanted to mention quick was that I think it's really cool that each of the beta readers approached this beta reading process differently. Like they all left notes a little bit differently, like in different styles. Like this main one that I'm going over right now basically wrote out chapter by chapter their thoughts. The beta reader that I got coffee with yesterday wanted to talk to me about it and talk through her thoughts, in addition to also leaving notes in a Word document. Somebody else sent me notes in a Word document, and then I still have a couple others to look at, I believe. And it's just kind of fun to like see everyone's different approach to this. But now that I have 1 page left in this email and I just spent 40 minutes working on this, I'm going to take a short break, probably stand up and stretch. I do not sit well in this chair. And then come back to it and finish up this person's thoughts on this beta read. Okay, it is now 12:01 a.m., meaning that we have passed midnight, and I just finished going over this person's beta feedback. I have like 2 or 3 questions that I'm about to send over to her just to like clarify some things that she said, as well as send her and the other 2 people that I've talked to so far, like messages saying thank you again. I really, really appreciate it. I'm coming up with some really good ideas, but that wouldn't have happened without you, so thank you again. But I ended up spending an hour and a half working on this tonight, and I'm feeling very good about it and starting to kind of think about how I'm going to tackle draft 4, which is a crazy concept. I know that I've gotten 3 drafts into this so far, but the prospect of draft 4, I think, might be the most daunting of any of them so far, even like more than draft 3. Draft 4 is by far the most daunting concept of a draft for this project so far. So far with the beta feedback that I have gone over, I've made like a solid chunk of notes, and I'm sure that there are more to come with going over the other people's beta feedback, but I am definitely starting to come up with a plan for draft 4. Can we also talk about how much my hand and like wrist are hurting right now because of like handwriting out all of these notes? I haven't taken these many notes since like probably like freshman year of college, and I only took like a couple of like handwritten exams, so I'm like trying to like fully do like hand stretches right now. I might need to like look up a tutorial on YouTube because my hand is like tired for doing this the past like 3 or 4 days. But as always, I'm going to continue making videos about this process because I personally find this very interesting, and apparently some of you guys do as well. So thank you so much for following me through this much of my journey so far, and make sure that if you are not already subscribed, you scroll down below, hit that big red subscribe button and that little notification bell next to it so you don't miss another video. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel by telling the YouTube algorithm that you liked my video and that someone else might too. But with that, I think that's going to be it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sarah Labrat, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!